Right.
Sorry.
Okay.
Right, we're checking in. Sorry for the false starts. I never get this Facebook tilt your camera business correct. Ever. I don't know if it's dyslexia or they just mess with me on the day. Cause, anyways, hello.
Hello to 10 people that are with us. Good evening.
Check 1, 2. There we are.
Yep. Hello. Sounds good. We got love hearts flying up the screen already.
Well, we'll just wait for a few more folks to check in before we get started. So I don't want to say or do too much or give away all my tricks or stand on my head too early or any of that stuff.
You, me, and 46 other people in the room. Hello, 46 people.
We're getting there. Good evening. Welcome. It's been, I don't know how long, but it's been a while since we've been in the living room. And with all the things that have been going on lately out there musically, or I should say not going on out there musically, I didn't feel it was a bad idea to do another online show, especially after the Snake Oil and Harmony tour had to be pushed back once again. It's my hope that we will get that happening at the end of next year or 3/4 of the way into next year. But to be honest with you, the arrangements involving travel, involving the restrictions, involving Brexit, involving all kinds of paperwork and things like that, it's still very difficult to figure out what's going on, and it keeps changing. So Dan and I thought we really wanted to have this tour done under just more lighthearted conditions. So we were just kind of hoping that there'll be at least a settling of the waters by middle of next year. Tyketto tour for March is still happening, so for the UK, fingers crossed. I do hope the UK gets its paperwork thing together, because I gotta tell you, the whole second day, 8-day tests, an absolute nightmare. I was lucky enough to do that one wonderful show in Ballymena just a few weeks ago, and I've gone to Switzerland and I've come back and I've filled out forms for Spain, for Switzerland, for the UK, and I can tell you that UK, you are number one as far as the most pedantic, ridiculous online filling in forms I've ever done. I don't know how many pages it took and how many various explanations just to find out that there was absolutely nothing in their contingency that covered my particular experience, which is coming in for one day, playing, leaving the next day. Still had to buy the second day test and have it shipped, even though I was not there to receive or take it. So that's £60 that the UK government got off of me and off of some friends that I know, like the Doro band that came from Germany. They all had to have them. So it's a good moneymaker, good scheme, that, but not a lot of fun for the rest of us, and obviously for all the other stuff that's going on musically as far as how bands can or cannot tour, whether, you know, they've got to fill out carnets, how it all is going to work, it's still very much up in the air. So we're all kind of scratching our heads going, let's see what happens.
It's very sad because it's particularly affecting any bands from outside the UK that want to play the UK.
Yeah, well, absolutely. You know, American bands have always had to struggle through. There's always been a couple of extra hurdles to jump over, but European bands didn't before. So welcome to the club, Europe. You're now as unwanted as the Americans were in the UK.
On a lighter note, is this the first Vaughn's Day you've done with that beautiful guitar?
Well, we'll get there. We'll get there. Yeah.
Okay.
How many folks are watching us?
We've got 131, and
Oh,
Julia
good stuff.
Haslam says, "Love the hair, Danny." Perhaps at this point, people will stop trying to tug the back of your hair and say to you that it's a wig.
Well, yeah, that's the drunken housewife thing. I've never quite understood that, but so anyway, this is in-house show number 20. When I realized that I was not going to be coming out to visit anybody until next year, I thought, well, let's keep these going for a little bit. So I thank you very much for joining, and I've got quite a few songs to get through tonight, so I'm going to get to it. And everything is a request, I think, except for one song, which I picked. And generally how I do the requests, it's kind of a first come, first served basis as far as who jumps on it online. And as long as somebody's not being utterly silly, and then I kind of tally it up. But what's interesting is that you would think that it'd be 3 or 4 songs that get like lots of votes, but actually, if I had to do every song that was voted for, this night would be twice as long. Everybody has their own individual favorites, and it was very interesting to see which songs got chosen for this one. But I'm just going to start off with an old friend, an old favorite to get warmed up. Johnny Two Bad now, don't you know, is he push that old Chevy down to Mexico? Thought he'd give me a cruise a whirl, picking up the language from the local girls. People say this world sure can chew you up, but he lived by the dice, trusted his good luck. Alright. So he found himself a home, and he got a girl, and he didn't want for nothing in this whole world. So he gave up on anything let him be. Living was simple, but it sure was free. Hey there, darling, what's your name now? Come sit with me and watch the sun go down. And you can see him smile when the day is done, 'cause the last sunset is the prettiest one. The last sunset is the prettiest one. Wasn't long before the sirens came from miles away, like they were calling his name. Found a picture that he'd never seen, taken at the last bank in Abilene. So he says to his wife, my running days are done. And he sits on his porch and he lets them come. And you can see him smile when the day is done, because the last sunset is the prettiest one. The last sunset is the prettiest one. And you can see him smile when the day is done, 'cause the last sunset is the prettiest one. The last sunset is the prettiest one.
Yeehaw!
And that's how we start things today.
Ooh, Carlos in Vigo. Hi, Carlos. He says you've started off with his favourite,
Oh,
John Smith in Fuerteventura, but he can see us, he can't hear us just yet. Newcastle, Northern Ireland, Italy, USA, Scotland, the Rylands is
Oh.
with us.
hello, Rylands is. Love you guys.
Ross McDonald.
We used to play in a band together, me and Jed. Do you remember that?
A long,
Long time ago, yeah.
ago.
Yeah, it was fun, as I recall.
Tosie Tory, lots of comments on the nice backdrop.
Cool. So, yes, as Melissa mentioned earlier, some of you who have been watching these shows may not recognize this guitar. So the quick story is that I turned 60 years old in July, and some incredibly kind-hearted souls, organized by the best organizer on the planet, Julie Bootlin, got together and decided, unbeknownst to me, that they wanted to get me a very special present. So a lot of people chipped in, somewhere around 27 or 30 people chipped in, and when they decided they had raised enough, this showed up in the mail. This is possibly the most beautiful acoustic guitar I own. I think probably it is, and I will tell you guys, for those of you who were part of it, first of all, obviously my heart is just so full of thanks for such a beautiful thing. And you should know that this guitar has rarely left my hands since I got it. I play it every day. it has a whole different feel to it. It's truly a beautiful instrument, and it makes me want to play more. So I thank you very much for that. And so I kind of got a special song to start with on this one. But as I mentioned earlier, 60, and that means got to do a little reading. So a little easier to see things from that way. This is a good request, and this is one that gets the old throat and lungs open. So here we go. Footsteps should be. Hold me with your eyes commanding. Laugh or no laugh or come to me. Come to me. From the point of no return, you fought the tide and fate was overturned. From the time of journeys end, we can live again. Every moment, every day, these are the miracle days. sweat just sitting at home.
I can't clap enough for 151 people, so...
Yeah, it was like I said, the selection of songs that people chose were very interesting. The bulk of them were solo songs, so I thought that was very sweet. And there were 4 songs picked off the Traveler album, which is where that one came from, Miracle Days. So, you know, it's a bit Traveler heavy in this set, which I'm always happy with. And the other thing I noticed that was very interesting is that I think 4 or 5 of the songs chosen have at least an element, if not are fully themed about Native Americans. So there are a lot of songs that people like that I've done over the years about that. So
The second most frequent question I get asked after how did you and Danny meet is Danny Native American?
Definitely not. I'm a European mutt, and I would never try to pass myself off as a wannabe. But of course, I always deeply loved the culture and the people that I've met. And that's been part of my upbringing as well because of my father's paintings and all of that. So it's a subject that's close to me.
Davey, any chance you can turn the volume up just a little bit? A few people have said it's not as loud.
Really?
It is to me.
I can fix that. Yeah. All right, we'll try that. Okay, so this was a request for a song off of the Hurricane Riders album, the CD that I did with Dan Reed that we have never been able to tour behind. If you're not familiar with that, it's the band is called Snake Oil and Harmony, and it's a very good album, if I do say so myself. And if you'd like to get a hold of the whole thing, you can go to Townsend Music online. They have it. So this is a fun little song because it involves a character that I kind of like to, occasionally when I write, I like to kind of dip into the stream of time, if you will, and be part of something that's happened before. And so like for instance, and on the Strength in Numbers album, there's a Why Do You Cry is on that. And somewhere in the fade out, I say, and meanwhile, I was still thinking. And that comes from so many different rock songs. It started with Chuck Berry. He put it in, he that did it in a song. T-Rex, I think, put it in a song. The Rolling Stones did it in a song. And I just thought, well, I'd like to be in that lineup. So I put it in too. And in this one, there's a character that has appeared in folklore and songs of this like for a long, long time, most notably Bob Dylan songs. And so I thought I would continue some of the adventures of the Jack of Hearts, and he's in here. And the song is called Damned If You Do. There was trouble on the midway, like a red rag to a bull. There were card shops and dirty well. Never seen the parking lot so full. I saw Cocaine Pete moving fast on his feet. There were bikers and ambassadors lining up to take the bait. Wise guys and privateers hoping for a little bit of that on their plates. I saw cowboys and thieves, and then the partying of the seas. He was a hurricane rider, smiling like the Jack of Hearts. He was a handsome insider. This is where the trouble starts, and you're caught in the middle. Damned if you don't make it through, damned if you do. Damned if you do. There was a crush of big investors, with the sheriff moving in on the flanks. Jack of Hearts in the middle, taking every one of them to the bank. It was gone before they knew, but he got his approaching you. He was a hurricane rider, smiling like the jack of hearts. He was a handsome insider. This is where the trouble starts, and you're caught in the middle. Damned if you don't make it through, damned if you do. Yeah. Damned if you do. Bikers and ambassadors lining up to take the bait. Wise guys and privateers hoping for a little bit of that on their plates. I saw cowboys and thieves, and then the parting of the sea. He was a hurricane rider, smiling like the jack of hearts. He was a handsome insider. This is where the trouble starts. He was a hurricane rider, smiling like the jack of hearts. He was a handsome insider. This is where the trouble starts. And you're caught in the middle. Damn if you don't make it through. And you're caught in the middle. Damn if you don't make it through. Damn if you do. Damn if you do. Damn if you do. Say damn. Damn if you do. Damn. Damn if you do.
Woo! What a song.
Okay.
Heather in France is with us. Hi, Heather.
Hello, Heather.
We've got people in Holland. We've got Hannibal, also Mariana in Brazil. Shout out to you guys. Tom Cullen is with us. Hi, Tom. And Lorna McCall, congrats, you're getting married on Sunday. Chris Bevan's daughter Jessica, happy 16th today, and they're going to be at the Tykes Swansea show.
Awesome. All right, we'll do one off Myths, Legends, and Lies. If you haven't heard about that album by now, everybody on this side has heard of it. If you haven't got it, go get it. Kelly's gone was all it said. Note that she left at the edge of the bed, door hanging open to let in the cold. She left no clues and no address. She left a lot of things unsaid and took whatever the Toyota could hold. In that cotton dress that I remember her in was still hanging on the line. The curtains were drawn, the TV was on, kitchen clock keeping time. Kelly's gone another mile. The road goes on, the world goes by. The wheels are rolling and it feels so good. Kelly's gone, kiss her goodbye. She never said the reason why. She'd ride forever if she could. Kelly's gone 1,000 miles before she lets herself try on a smile. Kicks off her shoes and puts the cruise control on. And she'll choose the roads by the numbers until the gas money runs out. Pulls to the side, and whatever she finds, that's where she'll settle down for now. Kelly's gone another mile. The road goes on, the world goes by. The wheels are rolling and it feels so good. Kelly's gone, kiss her you have loved and lost so much. She doesn't miss his voice or his promises. She doesn't need his touch. Kelly's gone another mile. The road goes on, the world goes by. The wheels are rolling and it feels so good. Kelly's gone, kiss her goodbye. She never said the reason why. She'd ride forever if she could. She'd ride forever if she could. All right.
Something else.
I
Ross.
hope you're all hearing how sweet this guitar sounds,
Oh,
because I'm enjoying it.
Just gonna say that Ross said the warmth coming out of the guitar is amazing.
It is. Well, that's because it's filled with love.
Yes.
It's bursting out.
And it is a particularly beautiful and wonderfully made guitar.
Yes.
54 people have shared the live stream, thank you.
Well, excellent.
Michelle and Micah in Wigan. Wigan has a special place in our hearts.
It does.
It
It's where we met.
does. It's where we very, very first met. Andrea Robinson says that her cats are enjoying it, and Leia is saying that her cats are taking turns jumping into her lap as she watches.
So, Julie will be all over me if I don't occasionally remind everybody that while the music is free, if it's at all possible, there is always a heart out for donations if you have it, because I just don't get to work this year. I haven't hardly worked at all, and that is, if you have at all the inclination and a few spare coppers, then the Danny Vaughn website, dannyvaughn.com, has a donate button on it, and it's a PayPal donation, and it would be greatly appreciated, just keeping the home fires burning.
And also the shop, of course, dannyvaughn.com/shop.
Yeah,
Yeah.
that's true. That's way. And if you prefer to just see something a little more solid, there's always the great T-shirts that they've done at JCPL, all kinds of stuff that I would take forever to list right now for the Myth, Legends, and Lies album. We've got the vinyl, the CD, the book on the making of the album. There's a lot of good stuff on there as well. If anybody doesn't know where to go there for that, just send a message on this stream, and Julie and Melissa will send you the link for that.
Hello to the Palmers.
All right. So, you mentioned Ross. This was Ross's request, and I'm always happy when he asks for this one. I think Ross, you're the only one that does ask for it, which it hurts a little bit, because I actually love this song. It's a very kind of obscure one, because it's on the Standing Alone EP that I did around 2001 or 2002, and that was I just gotten my first home studio, and I was experimenting, recording acoustic versions of Tyketto songs, very much quieter. And then I started writing with it, and this was what's on there is a demo. It's a drum machine and a piano that was done with a sequencer and just some vocals. And it just turned into one of my favorite songs. I think lyrically it's one of my better pieces. And at some point in the future, it's going to get the proper band treatment, I think, and we'll see this one again. So this song is called Remember When. Another Saturday night that ended too soon. Another bad day left her crying in her bedroom. He never once listened to a word she said. He was all hands and eyes and bad lines instead. Same old story again. So many males and so few men. Tell me, where did all the gentlemen go? Fred Astaire and Joe DiMaggio. If we only knew now what There's a page in our story where nobody goes. There's some old treaty paper going down a dirt road. The great white fathers, don't you worry, they said. There will be justice for all, every mouth will be fed. All those pretty promises they said don't sound like life on the res. Are there no more men of honor out there? Frankfurt's crowing, Luther standing there. We try to live on the good our hearts intend, but all we can do is remember when. Turned on my radio to help me get along. I heard 1,000 commercials and maybe one song. I heard teeny bopper bubblegum, I heard anger and grief, but I never heard anything give me hope or belief. Who put all the visionaries down? Did they pack up their things and get out of town? Tell me, why do all the great ones fall? Jimmy and Janis, John Lennon and all. There was Marvin and Otis and Stevie Ray. They still had so much to say. Tell me when our priorities went to hell. Investments and paper trails, buy and sell. It's not a way of living I can defend. All I can do is remember when.
So emotional, that song. Wow.
Thank you.
It's
Yeah, that's one
really
that's got a
something.
little tip of the hat. There's a Native American verse in there, and also on the live version you just heard, there's a chorus that isn't on the CD that I want to add in. There was actually more lyrics written at the time, and I chopped it down, and I kind of missed that verse, so I put it back in tonight. It was the one about Jimmy and Janis and John Lennon.
Leia Clocko and I have a very wonderful piece of lyric line, so many males and so few men, that is Leia and my favourite lyric. Inspired.
Excuse me for a minute whilst I tune.
Ross said he was doing a happy dance through that.
A Scottish happy dance, mind you,
Yes.
which is always a thing to behold.
Possibly.
Usually involves some kind of knife throwing.
I was going to say possibly over swords.
Happily throwing some 10-foot pole over his backyard to his neighbor.
Yes. Someone else is saying, please turn it up louder. I said, flipping heck, we already turned up once. The windows are fairly shaking. Thank God all the neighbours have already left the complex for this year.
Well, this one gets some volume into it, so this is for Warren. There's a time when you keep all that's precious close to your skin. There's a face in the window reflects everywhere that you've been. There's a romantic notion you'll dance in the sunshine and soul. There's a reason to know my travel that keeps moving on. I'm just a passenger every hand that you find with a smile and a tear in your eye. To a traveler, it's always goodbye. There's a whisper of love we keep for our innermost prayers, longing for destination, but somehow I never found where. There's a world in the blur where our time and our youth always slips. There's a hope for salvation on every traveler's lips. I'm just a passenger, I'm just a sailor lost at sea. I'm just a messenger and I can't explain what's inside of me. So I ride down the wind, search for the end of the road that you know might not ever come down in time. Touch every hand that you find with a smile and a tear in your eye. Yeah. I'm just a passenger, I'm just a stranger at the wheel, a lonely messenger, and I can't explain all the things I feel. So I ride down the wind, search for the end of the road that you know might not ever come down in time. Touch every hand that you find with a smile. Oh, when I ride down the wind, search for the end of the road that you know might not ever come down in time. Touch every heart that you find with a smile and a tear in your eye. To which traveler it's always goodbye.
Woo!
I wasn't quite sure what chord to end it on. Could be that one, could be that one, I don't know.
Everyone is saying how awesome you sound and how
Oh, thank you.
amazing the guitar is.
Thank you very much. Ah, okay.
The Quintons are in the house. Paul Quinton says Tom's in Pontypridd, never to be forgotten.
Oh yeah, without a doubt. Good old Toms. I don't think I'm going to stop sweating until like December with these gigs. I don't know what.
I could put the fan on, but it might make noise.
Yeah, no, it'll make too much noise, I think, overhead.
Yeah,
Or it'll distort the sound anyway.
sure.
So,
Bloody marvellous, says Michael Shalley. Thank you, Michael.
this was a request, I believe, came from a friend here in Spain. So I thought if this song had traveled this far, had traveled that far as from when it was written to where it was heard. I'm always pleased when people request this one because it is one of my favorites. So sit back, grab a beer, some crisps. I'm going to tell you a story. I stumbled in out of the rain in a coffee house in Kazakhstan where the wine flowed like Sirdari and the coffee like its mother. Didn't know anyone, the customs or the language. Didn't know how I got there from the Hudson Valley flood. At the table sat an angel, and I knew he was an angel, but no one seemed to talk to him. pay him any mind. He put his smoke out in his tea, and I told him your time's a waste. He said he didn't mind the secrecy, but he hates to run behind. And I said, I have got a million questions. That's why I called you here today, to point the way. So I asked about love and pain and death, about sacrifice and holiness. I wondered aloud about growing old and who's going to win the Super Bowl. What was the point? Who has the plan? Did man make God or God make man? And can anybody, anywhere, figure women out at all? And he said, I've heard a million questions. Only one answer can I say. So ask it slow, the thing you have to know, and I will point the way, and I will point the way. Well, I stammered and I stalled with the pressure of it all, and my mind went numb and made a sound like someone left the blender on. And I panicked as I felt my throat formulate and let one go. I said, how am I doing? He said, fine, and he was gone. Well, what would you have done? All your questions down to one. No deliberations or preparations or getting on the internet. Would you have known just what to do if it all came down to you? And could you learn to live with the answer you might get? Well, we all have so many questions. To almost anyone we'll pray if they point the way. If they point the way. Well, I sat there in the dark. Through the smoke I saw a spark. It was the angel's light of comfort in a corner in the back. And he smiled and winked at me and said, here, I'll give you one for free. He said, love, it must be learned, and the truth, it must be earned. And there never was and never will be someone who knows what is to be. But take heart, you come equipped with your own eternal script. If you just shut up and listen, you'll hear everything you need. So you go right on asking questions. Let your heart call the play. Every now and then I think I'll stop and check on you. And I will point the way. And I will point the way. I will point the way. And I will point the way.
Amazing.
That's still one of my favorites that I
It's
that I
a
wrote.
big favourite.
I'm
You should
very happy
see
with
the
it.
love hearts flying up the screen. Really amazing. I remember when you put that song together and you said, I've got a mixture of spoken lines and sung lines and I don't know how it's going to be received. And
Yeah.
I remember thinking to myself, I think it's going to sound flipping awesome, and it so does.
Oh, thank you. Yeah, it's, you know, when people come to hear you sing and then you start talking like Bob Dylan, you think, oh, that's when they head for the bar. You know?
But you know what? I think it has the opposite effect. Because
If it's only one.
Yes.
Yeah, if it's on its own, it's kind of like, I saw that in Switzerland. I played that one in Switzerland. Of course, I'm sure not everyone understood all the words.
Right.
but there was a real like
Ears
leaning in
pricking up,
kind of
right?
thing.
Yeah, like
you know?
what's going on? That's different. Yeah, for sure.
So, a note of sadness. You know, it's part of life. We have to acknowledge it. On that birthday, one of the things that I'm having trouble adjusting to. One of the wonderful things that happened on my birthday in July was that my wife planned my first and only ever surprise party, which,
Yay!
you know, in the midst of everything that's going on, was a complete shock that we had like something like 55 people turn up and
At least.
celebrate with us, and we had a great night, and there was singing and carousing and all
An
that.
enormous cake in the shape of a guitar.
Yeah. And one of the things that Melissa did was she reached out to as many people as she could that, you know, she knew I was close to, whatever. Julie collected any number of birthday cards from all over, from fans around, and Melissa contacted a lot of people that were close to me. And so I have this huge bag of cards that I'm keeping. Normally, birthday cards, I'll keep them for a couple of weeks, unless something really special is in there, you know, from an unusual person or whatever. I don't hang on to them because I just don't like all the extra stuff. But these I've kept, and these I will never get rid of. What has been hard for me to adjust to is that, you know, already here in October, 2 of the people that sent me such lovely notes are no longer with us. They've died.
Surrenders.
And they were not old people either.
No.
They were in their 50s.
No.
And so the first person I want to talk about is our dear friend Matt Warden from Texas, who
So missed.
was also a major contributor to this instrument and listened to every single show I did, listened to every book reading Melissa did through that whole COVID experience. But what a champion of my art he has been, and someone that I felt cheated by, not by him of course, but by the circumstance, because I was quite sure he and I were going to become much closer friends over the years.
Yeah.
There was
Two
something very
bears.
special about him. So for Matt, I want to do a song that was a favorite of his that he had requested once or twice. It's also on the Traveler album. It's called The Warrior's Way. ended up on the Traveler album, that one, but I was in a writing period before that where I was doing a lot of writing, and I had just had the privilege and great fun of doing a tour with opening up for Bob Catley and his solo band, and that was just a good time, and I came away with, it was really my first sort of intimate exposure with Bob and his material and his voice. And I knew that he didn't write all of his own material, so I actually sat down and wrote that song. Initially, I thought I was going to send that to Bob Catley and say, I think so. I can hear him doing it. Can you? You can see him? But then I liked it so much I kept it.
I doubt he could have injected the fire that you inject.
I disagree.
Yeah?
Bob's got it.
Okay.
Bob's got it. Yeah, absolutely. Or Bob.
You are being asked it, but what everyone's saying, awesome, wow, superb, I'm lost for words other than wow, I want to jump up and down.
Jump up and down, it's good for you.
Yes.
It's good for the circulation, definitely do it.
Superb, and will you ever write a biography?
Oh, I don't know.
As if you've got time.
I've made notes, but, it's not exactly like, I'm a member of Deep Purple or something.
Doesn't
I don't have those stories.
Doesn't matter, you do have a lot of stories.
I do. Like this one. I believe this was requested by Tyketto. As a lot of you online may remember, there was, in July, not this year, but the previous year, God, it's amazing, this has been going on a while, hasn't it?
I know.
I did a very special one of these shows where we asked everyone to donate money to the Lakota Waldorf School, which is the only Waldorf school on Indian reservation land out in South Dakota. We raised a lot of money. It was wonderful. And for that occasion, I brought out a few songs that hadn't rarely been heard. And this next song was one that was written for a very special occasion, once again, to raise money at that time for the Lakota College Fund, and for a man that I would eventually come to call brother. So I'm really pleased that I and a few other people have remembered that song from last time, so I'm going to do this one. The lyrics, some of it is taken directly from, if you have any interest at all in Native American history, culture, whatever, one of the books that you need to read is Black Elk Speaks by John G. Neidhart, in which he just wrote down a lot of what the great medicine man Black Elk said. Black Elk lived to quite an old age, but he was there at the battle of, the battle where Custer was killed. Sometimes my brain forgets a number of things, but so some of the lyrics in here are paraphrasing his Black Elk's dream, which was a dream where the Native Americans would rise again as a people and claim their land back, and that's why there's references to the title is called Thundernation, and this is the horses, when there's thunder, it's the horses thundering through the sky, and they're coming and they're dancing, and they're clearing the way for the people to reclaim their place. The song is called Thundernation. When I was a young boy, my father used to say, my home, my lands are buffalo, will be gone someday. We were proud, we were free, and living life our way. Who would think, who should know that we would pass away? Forgotten fire still burning, yesterday's no dream. Spirits are still all around us, but are so rarely seen. I look into the river with a tear in my eye. skies. I may look like anyone, I keep my sacred ways inside. The enemy has changed, but the warrior's still around. And I will touch the heart of anyone that still can hear the sound of the rumbling of thunder as the horses shake the sky and the earth is shook by lightning that flashes from their eyes. They are coming, dancing. The Thundernation clears the way for the people to reclaim their place. Coming, singing. The Thundernation clears the way forever. Look up through your concrete walls, past the sounds of men. Even here, the eagle calls, and he waits to fly again. They are coming, dancing. The Thundernation clears the way for the people to reclaim their place. Coming, singing. The Thundernation clears the way forever. They are coming, they are dancing. They are coming, they are staying. I can
Wow.
never play that song without thinking of Charlie White Album.
Of
That
course.
is his song forever and ever in my mind, and I miss him so much.
course.
Mm.
Colin Day says, such a powerful chorus, love it. Tyketto says she loves the song and thank you for the mention.
Gonna switch guitars, so keep chatting. We're gonna
Thank
try
you
something
to
different.
79 people who have shared the stream. Great.
Whew, the stream, like the one that's running down my forehead.
Somehow or other you still manage to look composed.
Oh, do I? Well, I am a composer. So, oh, let's see, yes. So yeah, as you can see, the Yamaha has not been forgotten.
Hi to Carol and Sean Cook. Hello.
Right, I'm going to start off doing a Waysted song now. It's been a while since I've done this one, and it's funny because I just kind of, as always, unless I'm playing a song currently, I always kind of go back and refresh my memory. And it's good because I think of different ways to play the song. It's never quite the same twice. But so looking back on that Save Your Prayers album, I've got a couple of different versions on CD, and this one was put out by Cherry Red, I think. And had some different liner notes in it. And I'd never actually sat and read all of it, even though I'd done the interview for it with Malcolm Dome. And the center of it had a varying set of reviews of the Waysted album when it came out. And my favorite personal one was where it said, we were thunderously average. Yeah, they put in both sides. There were some really scathing, like, ho-hum, who cares?
Yeah, but at least they didn't mention tight trousers.
But what can I say? That album's 30 years past, and wherever I play, people still want to hear songs from it. So I think we won on that one.
Yay.
It's the way that album was written. A lot of it was so bizarre. In the winter of 1985, I found myself after just doing a few shows with Waysted, opening up for Iron Maiden in Eastern Europe, and we played in London, and we played in Israel, and then all of a sudden it was like, okay, we're going to do an album, so it's time to write some songs. So I went and stayed with Pete and his girlfriend Bettina at the time in Copenhagen for a few weeks, and it was a very interesting experience living with those two. And there would be stuff like Pete would come out and we'd chat a little bit about a song idea, like he'd come out and he'd for Walls Fall Down, he'd just go, he'd do something on the bass, he'd go, you just say you like to rock, something like that then, and then he'd leave. And he and Bettina would go eat and drink glögg because it was Christmas time and come back hammered, and I was left for hours with like that idea, and I think he had the title, Walls Fall Down, so I, kind of constructed that, and eventually Paul would come in and make real, guitar chords out of it and all that. But I can't honestly remember how this one got started, because the subject of this particular song, through quite a bit of it, is one of my heroes, which is Phil Lynott. And that's why it's called Singing to the Night, because if you listen to a lot of Phil Lynott lyrics, at some point or another he will say, in the night.
And he always enunciated that's the T. Love it.
So, and of course, my having some Irish blood in me, I worked that in as well. So, it's just Singing to the Night anyway. To the top, can't stand still, never stop. I am a rebel, look at me. I'm living out my own fantasy, always outside, look She is everything I need. She makes me feel alright. I'm singing to the night. She is everything I need. She makes me feel alright. She shows me all my dreams. When I'm hiding in the light, I'm singing to the night. Singing to the night. Singing to the night.
Woo! Tremendous.
Yeah, that's a big favorite. That got a lot of requests this time.
A lot of people saying they love it. You might want to re-mention about the donations, baby, in case people have
Fair
just
enough.
joined.
Fair enough. Yeah, just if it's at all possible within the reach of your hearts and your pocketbooks, it is possible to donate for tonight's show, and that would be greatly appreciated by me.
And Mr. Mao.
And Mr. Mao, yes, he's got to be kept in kibble. Which he turns his nose up at half the time anyway. Spoiled brat. So if that's something you can do, just go to DannyVaughn.com, and on the front opening page there is a donate button. I believe it's down towards the bottom, and I thank you very much for that.
Someone called Paul Terry Eagles said, "You still make me laugh, cry and reminisce of years gone by. All the best, my friend."
Thank you, Paul.
Gordon MacDonald in Australia,
Is he watching?
driving to work, singing at the top of my
Ah.
lungs. Maybe I should have wound the window up first.
No way.
Fantastic.
Let the world know. Staring out the window like I'm waiting for a change. As if I stay long enough, I'd see it when it came. Use the book and numbers by the silent telephone. Call up everyone I found, but didn't talk to no one. And the rain comes down as if it's trying to wash me away. And there ain't no many moving lines, like I say, standing alone. Like I got nowhere to go, standing alone. Like the day that I was born on my own. I believe this boy has grown, standing alone. Ain't no way to take a blow with every cheek's been turned. I can't show another side, but every side's been burned. I am helpless, can't fight a raging heart, and I've got no use for being torn apart. And the world don't see it, have no use for me, 'cause you give it nothing, nothing isn't free. Standing alone, like I got nowhere to go. Standing alone, like the day that I was born out on my own. I believe this boy has grown, standing alone. You can't keep it all inside. tight, something to hold on to. I just don't want to be standing alone. No, 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 no. Whoa. And the rain comes down as if it's trying to wash me away. And there ain't no romantic movie lines like this here, standing alone. Like I got nowhere to go, standing alone. Like the day that I was born, not on my own. I believe this boy has grown, standing alone. Like I got nowhere to go, standing alone. Like the day that I was born, out on my own. I believe this boy has grown, standing alone. An oldie but goodie.
Times a million. One of the greatest tracks of all time. Goosebumps, in tears at the first chord. You certainly know how to make women burst into tears, baby.
And that's without them smelling my aftershave.
Goosebumps city everywhere.
Right, quick tuning.
Do you want to tell us a bit about the story behind Standing Alone?
Oh, I've told that story so many times.
But there could be new people listening in.
No, we'll pass on that one. I can't tell a story for everything. We won't get to the songs.
Alright.
Because I did want to say something about this next one. This is a song that's on Traveler. And I want to mention, I want to dedicate this one to my second friend that I lost, who was my dear friend and Spanish promoter, Jose Herrera, who passed just recently. And if anybody saw my post, I was actually, you know, Jose and I have always been friends, and we keep in touch, and you know, but when I sat down and put it all down in writing, I realized how many important moments in my life Jose was part of. Probably one of my very first acoustic concerts ever. Like terrified, you know, shaking. You know, I've never done that before. Was in Madrid at Ritmo y Compás, which was his club that he helped manage and everything.
And
like
roughly what year was that, more or less?
I don't remember. I only know that I was asked to say hello to and possibly jam with a very, very young Waysted guitarist by the name of Jorge Salam.
Yes.
And of course, Jorge and I are still friends, and
Yeah.
he's one of the most gifted guitar players you'll ever see. And he came up and played Wings with me. And it was just one of those moments, as was the original Tyketto reunion of 2004. He put together the Madrid show, which was huge. It was like 800 people packed into that club. It was amazing. He introduced me to Manuel Seoane, and therefore I got to do the Burning Kingdom album.
Sure.
There's just been many landmarks. And of course, you know, living here then, that came out of nowhere. So it was a great shock, and we were all of us in the musical community in Spain, everyone knew Jose, and we miss him greatly. So I'm going to do this song for him as best I can. It was a song that several people requested, and I don't do too often. It's called Lifted. Oh, still water, cool and sweet, cover me over, protect me. There's a river deep inside, blood and fever, amplified. I can drift away, I can slip away from this place. In this head of mine, I can't help what goes on. I am fuel and I am fire, and I'm weak and I'm warm. There's a box of stars hidden under my bed that I only take out when I'm desperate, and I don't know why I wait so long. I can't seem to speak, but I can hide inside a song. Oh, and I have fallen down, I need to be lifted. Give me one word, one single sound, and I will be lifted. Lifted up out of this place, lifted into your grace. Seems the more that I learn, the less that I know. I give blood up on stage, don't give a damn at home. And I'm running in circles, and I'm standing in place, begging for a gliver, dying for a taste. I don't know why it's gone away. Oh, and I have fallen down, I need to be lifted. Search for your face up over the crowd, and I will be lifted. Into your arms I'll ascend, where I can start again. Oh, I need to be lifted. I need. Whoa, I have fallen down, I need to be lifted. Give me one word, one single sound, and I will be lifted. I need to be lifted. Give me one word, one single sound, and I will be.
Woo! What a song.
All right.
Fantastica is what you're getting. If only we all lifted someone else, the world will be a beautiful place.
Well, we can. We can. Just little bits and pieces. That's all it takes.
Yeah.
Okay, it's surprise time.
Woo.
Every one of these shows, I always try and do something, either, just a few that I've never done. People ask, I don't do a lot of cover songs, by the way, partially because of YouTube's algorithms that may very well shut the whole thing down once we post it. So, but you never know, that could be coming. But this next song that I'm going to do, I have never performed, ever, anywhere with a band, solo, ever. And I believe this was a request of Cullen Day's, and I have great love for Cullen, so I went and learned it. I don't generally just go, all right, I'm going to learn a song for one show, but I did on this one. I also think this is going to make Julie very happy, because I know she has requested this one before. And it comes off of the From the Inside Visions album. So, let's see if I can just gather my thoughts together. The song is called Telemetry. Traveler, I run where I will, watching for those who moving for the kill, crossing borders, a hush with no sound, in constant motion, I'll never be found. Every contingency have been thought through, right up until I'm blindsided by you. I never realized how good this could feel, letting go. Security, I surrender to your touch. Now your anger has its hooks in me. You and I had telemetry. Our broken cover should bring me in, willing surrender. Not bad.
I'll say. Colin Day says it's a bucket list song. Thank you so much. Julie,
I knew that, so...
I think Julie's bopping away in her chair. She's can't wipe the smile off her face.
Switching guitars.
And while we're at that, thank you, Mama Tyke, for all of your help, not least in keeping all the baddies off of this page as well.
That's right. She's out there with her sniper and scope.
Fighting the baddies.
The things you gotta go through, right? You can't just enjoy a concert. You gotta deal with spammers trying to get in on the action. Oh dear. Right, we shall retune. This is a request from, let's put the PA back on. This is a request from the Myths, Legends, and Lies album. If there's any of you watching that do not have that CD, I would seriously recommend it if you like anything of what you've heard, because it was kind of the album of my lifetime, I think. There may be more, but that's one of them, and I think it's still my favorite thing that I've ever done, and one of the few that I go back and listen to from time to time, and it gives me a lot of pleasure to hear it, to hear the sound. And
I remember years ago you'd come up with the title Myths, Legends and Lies years ago, and you talked about it. It was a very exciting process.
Yeah, for sure. Exciting. It was a bit of a roller coaster ride, but we got it. So this is a request from that. It's called Black Crow. No, that's not how it starts. Where are you going, Black Crow? Where are you going, Black Crow? I'm flying out to find me an unfortunate soul. I've a message to deliver for him. I threw an old penny down a well. I watched as it forever fell. It landed in the collection plate of the devil down in hell. I said, that's all you'll ever get from me, sir. Hangman, now where do you go? Hangman, now where do you go? I'm following the footsteps of that old black crow. Find me an unfortunate soul. Slept in an old blanket down a ditch. Slept in an old blanket down a ditch. The night it got inside, it was hot and black as pitch. My clothes, they had nary a stitch. Tell me, fair woman, why you lied. Tell me, fair woman, why you lied. I did no harm to no one, but still you testify I was only looking for some charity. Hangman, now where do you go? Hangman, now where do you go? I'm following the footsteps of that old black crow to find me an unfortunate soul. you come back? Black Crow, now why have you come back? I found what I was looking for, alas and alack. My message is for you, and the hangman is coming up the trail.
You'd ever use the word alack in terms
it's a funny thing that that song owes more than a nod to Led Zeppelin, most particularly Gallows Pole, which of course is you know, if you go back for sources, that comes from the traditional song. And it struck me so much that in that song, you know, the hero loses, you know, in that song. The hangman gets the silver, he gets to have sex with the guy's sister, he gets all this stuff, and then he hangs him anyway.
Right.
And I just thought, I kind of want to write a song where the protagonist doesn't come out well in the end. And the hangman was just, you know, it's such a great traditional figure of doom.
Yeah,
you
yeah.
know? So
Yeah.
that and the crow,
Yeah.
which became the symbol of the album. Right, we're getting towards the end of our evening. So now, another rarity. I'm going to do the only cover song tonight. Tozy, this was a good idea. I enjoyed learning it. So, here's one by The Boss. Well, we busted out of class, had to get away from those fools. We learned more from a 3-minute record, baby, than we ever learned in school. Tonight I hear the neighborhood drummer sound. I can feel my heart begin to pound. You say you're tired and you just want to close your eyes and follow your dreams down. Well, we made a promise, we swore we'd always remember. No retreat, baby, no surrender. Like soldiers in the winter's night with a vow to defend. No retreat, baby, no surrender. Well, now young faces grow sad and old, and hearts of fire grow cold. We swore blood brothers against the wind. I'm ready to grow young again and hear your sister's voice calling us home across the open yards. Well, maybe we could cut some place of our own with these drums and these guitars. 'Cause we made a promise, we swore we'd always retreat, baby, no surrender. Blood runs in the stormy night with a vow to defend. No retreat, baby, no surrender. No retreat, baby, no surrender.
Wow. Tozy Tory's got something in his eye, apparently.
Well,
Nicole says you should see his face.
if you guys don't know that one, that goes all the way back to Bruce Springsteen's Born in the USA album. And that song, it just rings true beautifully, even now. So, thank you for the suggestion, Tozy. It's in my kit bag of songs now.
So many people are saying it's absolutely awesome. You nailed it. How lovely to hear a Bruce song sung with a more melodic voice. Epic.
Well, we got a couple more songs to do before we bid you good night, and thank you guys so very much for being part of this. And you know, as the way things are going, perhaps we'll line another one up for November. You know, tell some friends. It'll get colder. You can gather around the electric fire, whatever it is. But thank you very much for being enthusiastic about this. When I suggested doing it again, the reactions were so lovely, and that makes it worthwhile. You know, because my wife is a wonderful audience, but she is an audience of one. So you guys are missed. As people who were in Ballymena can testify, when they do let me out of my cage, and I do get to play. I played for 3 hours and 5 minutes.
Yep.
And nobody left. So that was good.
Yeah.
So the next song I'm going to do for you is just a good old Irish fight song off the Myths, Legends and Lies album. It's called Shadow of King John. This town's had its salad days until the bills came due. A lady goes all left into her own. Maybe you ran out of luck, or maybe luck ran out of you. But rain or shine, the city is my home. Left the lady caring at the prison walls while the dogs are on the track. And weeping Perry crumbles brick by brick. And they dancing in the ruins down by Dolan's that's the crack. And buying lotto tickets double quick. So you can choose your poison, take your pick. And the boys in the band played on. And the stripes on the tiger, they're gone, gone, gone. While the water of the Shannon, it flows on and on and on. In the shadow of King John. St. Mary's has gone quiet, except on holy days. But the lepers squint still there to catch a view. And they're climbing up the treaty stone while the same old music plays. In Cruises Street they're shopping till they're blue. Well, what else is there left for us to do? And the boys in the band played on. And the tracks of the tiger, they're gone, gone, gone. The water of the Shannon, it flows on and on and on. In the shadow of King John. In the shadow of King John. Well, bless old Willie's mustache, but don't write the city's epitaph. There's life still in the old girl yet. Wipe the shit on top of Sarsfield's head and polish up his sword lest we forget. The serve the black in buckets when the wolf tones are in town. Forget about big money's bait and switch. They're singing loud enough in Thomond Park to bring the rafters down and set eruption off without a hitch. When the Munster boys come storming down the pitch, and the boys in the band played on, and the water of the Shannon, it flows ever on and on. They put the teeth always good to have a little bit of insurrection in you.
And Guinness.
Yeah, well, a little bit.
Dina Shapiro says, we love being your audience. Thank you for being in a very special category of only a few artists who bless us with music from your home. You doing these for free shows you really truly appreciate your fans and love what you do. So many people saying they're looking forward to seeing you on the road.
Well, we got one more song to do. This is an unusual one. I'm kind of ending on a quieter note. This one got several requests. This is also another one that reflects on my Native American experience. This was a song that was on the Burning Kingdom album, and it was a beautiful piece of music that Manuel wrote, and it just got the wheels in my head turning. So for those who aren't familiar with it, the song is called I Will Fight No More Forever, and that is a direct quote from Chief Joseph of the Nez Perce, who led a rebellion for months and months and months, with about 300 men, women, and children fighting off 3,000 trained U.S. cavalry. They were working their way up through the Dakotas and trying to get to Canada, where they would get much better treatment than when they were dragged off to the res. So they made it within 30 or 40 miles, as I recall, and then by that time, the winter was so harsh, and he'd lost so many of his people that he surrendered. His speech is something worth reading. The translation of it, it's still translated from his language to ours. It's as beautiful a speech as Lincoln would have given, or anyone, or Churchill, or any one of those great orators. And so this is, there's a bit in here, there's parts in here that are quotes from the speech, and there are parts from here that are my version of telling the story. So I'll just say thank you guys very, very much for your appreciation, your support, for sticking with me. We'll get back. Next year's going to be a good year for music, I think. So I look forward to seeing all of you guys. Thank you for your donations. Thank you for my guitar. And I hope to see you all very soon. Turn my blanket to the cold and search the falling snow for the children I have lost, for the peace I'll never know. For so long we've been pursued across the wild blue. Now my heart is sick and sad, and my home is lost from view. Where the clear water runs, where the mountains touch the sky, where the people were 10,000 years gone by. We met you there as friends, but your friendship doesn't hold, thrown away by lust for gold. The lightning and the flame, the spirit in my name, the power that I had before, taken from my hands, from where the sun now stands. I will fight no more forever. So you come to me again to see the battle's end. Freedom 40 miles away, may as well have never been. Shall I sell my father's bones betray the very stones for another breach of faith? Can you take what no one owns? We walked out from the woods, we were given to this place, and promised we would keep our Maker's grace. And my father kept his word, like the ones who came before, thunder rolling down the mountain. Rose no more, the lightning and the flame, the spirit in my name, the power that I had before, taken from my hands, from where the sun now stands. I will fight no more. The lightning and the flame, the spirit in my name, the power that I had before, taken from my hands, from where the sun now stands. I will find no more forever. Thank you all very much. Have a great upcoming weekend. Look after yourself. Stay safe. And Melissa and I send you our love until we see you next time. Good night.